You may hear a commotion in the background from time to time because the kitties this morning are filled with zoomies. You could just, the eyes are just fully dilated. They're fucking running all over the house and everything. They're in the other room knocking stuff over. Well, cardboard boxes. We have a bunch of cardboard boxes up for them so they can just go bonkers. And they do. They go bonkers. Anyway, navy blue. Memoirs and Armour. Got a message on Patreon. Was it Patreon? Yeah, it was Patreon. A couple days ago. And, people are getting wise about selling albums to me because I'm sure you guys see in the comments all the time, oh, you got to listen to so-so, you got to listen to so-so. And, that's just noise. I don't even, those comments don't even register because I see them it's like the signs at work or the billboards on the freeway. Like, you see them every day, all the time. So it just doesn't even register, right? The people who take time to write up a message and oh yeah, I'm going to really detail out why you're going to like this and why I think it's so important and why it connects with me. So those are the ones that grab me. But the hard part is especially when it comes to something who I've never really, been put onto before. Like, it's one thing if it's an album that's consistently requested. Like, I would say one that's consistently requested right now that would kind of fall next in line would be Forever is a Mighty Long Time by Big Crit. But every now and then I'll get this great write-up, but it's for somebody I've never really had mentioned to me before. So I go, I don't know. Because I've had both experiences where people say, oh, this is great. And I go, it's okay. It's fine. Or people go, nah, don't listen to that. It's not that great. For example, yesterday I listened to Jesus is King by Kanye West. I get why people aren't into that, but I thought it was actually a pretty good album. I was pretty impressed by it. So you never know because I haven't heard it. So I looked up the album on Genius. I just pulled up some lyrics a couple days ago. I didn't sit and read them, but I just glanced. At it for a second. Probably 30, 45 seconds of kind of scrolling through a song, skip over, scroll. And I immediately noticed, I without looking too hard, but I kind of noticed, looks poetic in terms of lyrics. And I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's check this out. Got a great write-up in the message. I love poetry. I've always loved poetry. Well, I need to walk that back. I haven't always loved poetry, and I wouldn't even say, I guess currently I love poetry. I used to be a big poetry fan, way back in the day. Back in the 90s when AOL, back in the 1900s, America Online, the internet service, dial-up modems. Oh, God. Going way back. There's all these chat rooms. Right? It's you could chat about this, that, whatever. And I used to hang out in the poetry chat rooms. And I used to there was these improv things. So someone would toss you a prompt and you would just write a poem about it. And I used to write them up just live and going. And then afterwards I would write them down in a journal or whatever. And I'd keep them all. And I remember going through the journal years ago, reading it. I was like, this is all garbage. So bad. Just angsty teenager emo garbage. But I enjoyed it. That's what matters. And one thing with music and with lyrics is, they're poems. Some of them are poems. Like I would say, you get into Rush, so the classic rock band Rush. That's a band I've always enjoyed. I really, really like their lyrics. I think Rush was really, I was into music when I was growing up. I remember fifth grade, sixth grade was when I was really starting to get hooked into music. But a buddy of mine in the sixth grade gave me a cassette tape of the Rush album Presto, which isn't even really necessarily one of their better albums, but it's cool. There's a couple songs on there that I really like. Oh God, what's the name of it? Oh, I'm totally blanking. I know how it starts. Great song. Anyway, Rush was kind of the first band that pulled me in lyrically. And the drummer wrote all the lyrics. And they're just cool. They're just cool, man. Some of them are stories, and some of them are just metaphors, and some of them are emotional, and some of it's just neat stuff. So lyrics I've always enjoyed. Poems I enjoy mostly because I enjoy lyrics so much. But anyway, all that to say, this is why we're here today. Navy blue. Fairly underground. It's funny. People have said this is like the top underground artists. So this is the most known unknown guy. Is that? I don't know what that means. But on Spotify, 235,000 listeners. I mean, he's got listeners. Got listeners for sure. But certainly not a Drake or a Kendrick or something like that. And that's fine. Honestly, I don't really care how many listeners an artist has. My favorite active hip hop artist, JPEG Mafia, he's at 2 million. So I'm not too concerned about numbers like that because numbers does not equate to musical quality. I've heard some people that have a lot of listeners make some shit. I've heard some people that have nothing make some incredible songs. Anyway, so let's drop in. I don't know anything about this guy. Some people have said I've heard a little bit of him. I did look up the Wikipedia a couple days ago. I didn't do it this morning. But I guess he's associated with Odd Future, and he's done some production under a different name, I think. Anyway, and I did see, apparently he was dropped from Def Jam. So he had 8 tracks go on for an EP, and then they dropped him. This is 10 tracks, 26 minutes. There's 2 music videos. I'll do it at the end like I normally do. It's Patreon only. Patreon's $2, MP3 format if you just want to listen. Discord access if you want to get in there. I haven't been on Discord really lately. I haven't been hanging out on Discord. I've taken a break from that. But it's also part of it. Okay, let's drop in. Track 1's called Take Heed. Producer is Budgie Beats. Walking in just blind. Completely unknown to me, essentially. I have no idea what to expect. Honestly, I don't even remember the message I got, the write-up. I just remember being very impressed by it and then glancing at lyrics and going, okay, I'll see if I can make this happen. And then sitting down with Jesus is King, although that video ran long. Anyway, whatever. Okay, track 1, Take Heed, Navy Blue, first time hearing him. Memoirs in Honor, in Armour. This album came out a week ago, so I'm a little behind the curve on this one.
Another baby born, another stolen life. To claim a day is yours, to see through open eyes. He say he know the truth, I know who told him lies. The tree with deepest roots, when lightning struck it died. How can I be of use? My limit is the totem size. In the event of your demise, we cried and kept it pushing. It's peaks and valleys, the totality I'm overlooking. That nigga did his dirt in secret, I let karma whoop him. Where it took him ain't no secret, it's an art to being decent. Nothing partial when it's even, oddly ought to find a reason. Say, the odyssey is sleepless safe. Too many are in need of sage, it's hard, it ain't no easy way to God who doesn't need a face. I remember bleeding, I remember seeing things. I'm forever singing praises. Journey through too many facets, many phases. Don't want too many faces, too many masks, too many men with lack of demonstration. Let the past inform the present like the future ancient. Cause voids need filling, healing and hurting. On the surface all the same thing. Blame is for a person, and learning is the great deed. Take heed.
This is gonna be fun.
You, remembering us, remembering you. It's a loop. And when you make a song out of the back and forth dialogue, you give a gift to them, they're giving a gift to you, you give a gift to them, they're giving a gift to you, you give a gift to them, they're giving a gift to you, you give a gift to them, they're giving a gift, you're giving a gift. It's this pulse. So you're not alone.
I love that. Yeah. I totally on board with that. I very much that's very much in line with my worldview, my belief structure. Yeah, these loops. Yeah. One of my favorite artists is Fiona Apple. Love her. Wicked pen, wicked tongue. And she bangs away on the piano, or she just caresses it like nothing else, man. Incredible artist, in my opinion. And I used to spend so much time just like reading her lyrics and trying to pick them apart and stuff. So this is why I really wanted to sit down with this, because of basically the lyrics. Cool production, neat sound. But what's fun too is since this guy is essentially underground, not mainstream or whatever, there's hardly any annotations anywhere. So it's just gonna be straight up on me to try and figure this out. It's called Take Heed. Another baby born, another stolen life. This might be long. I'm really just gonna play around with the lyrics. I'm just gonna ponder on shit, and we'll see where it all goes. I mean, that first line already okay. To claim the day is yours to see through open eyes, not closed eyes, open eyes. He say he knows the truth. I know who told him lies. I like that, right? I know the truth, but if you know where the person got their source of information from and you know it's a lie, then you know they don't know the truth type of thing. Now, I'm just going to say a lot of stuff. I don't know how it folds into a track meaning or an album meaning, but I'm just going to just open thought, just toss things out there as they come out, basically. The tree with the deepest roots, when lightning struck, it died. The first thing that comes to mind, really, I shouldn't say the only thing. The first thing that comes to mind is the idea of if you're a tree with deep roots, I would associate that. Like if you have no roots, you have no home. Okay? So then the inverse would be if you have deep roots, you're deeply rooted in where you are, your home. That's how I would take that. So then when lightning strikes, I associate that idea with lightning in a bottle, like an opportunity. So maybe we'll just put this in the vein of an artist. If you're an artist and lightning strikes, oh my God, and now here's your chance, here's your opportunity. But if you have deep roots, maybe you're not comfortable leaving home, or you can't uproot and move and seize this opportunity to this lightning strike. And so then you essentially die. The artist dies because you can't capitalize on the opportunity. Maybe. I have no idea. Maybe. That's how I would initially take that. But who knows? How can I be of use? My limit is the totem size. I don't know much about totems other than I like saying the word totems. It's a cool word. So I don't know about that one. In the event of your demise, we cried and kept it pushing, its peaks and valleys. The totality I'm overlooking. It kept it pushing, peaks and valleys. It's almost like in the event of your demise, we kept the idea pushing, maybe the ups and downs, but I'm overlooking. Maybe I'm overlooking the experience. Maybe I'm missing, I don't know. That person did his dirt in secret. I'll let karma whoop him. Good line there. Where it took him ain't no secret. It's an art to being decent, nothing partial when it's even. Oddly, ought to find a reason, say the Odyssey is sleepless, safe. Too many are in need of a sage. So a sage is somebody who imparts wisdom. So too many are in need of wisdom. The Odyssey is sleepless, safe. Sleepless, safe. I don't know. It's hard. It ain't no easy way to God who doesn't need a face. I remember bleeding. I remember seeing things. I'm forever singing praises. Journeyed through too many facets, many phases. Done worn too many faces, too many masks, too many men with lack of demonstration. So this whole section, an Odyssey, needing wisdom, there's no easy way, bleeding, singing praises, many facets, many phases, many faces, too many masks, too many people with lack of demonstration. It just sounds so. Some of the stuff I'm going to say is going to sound stupid too, right? Like it doesn't mean anything. But it's just like this. If I'm thinking about it like an artistic journey, trying to make it, lightning strikes, trying to capture an opportunity, peaks and valleys, but too many faces, too many masks. Okay. And I know I didn't really say anything there. I mean, this is really just active, open stream of thought type thing. Let the past inform the present like the future ancient. Was led astray, he disobeyed, then put in place a sanction full of joy. and full of rage and simultaneously thankless. Ha. Ha. That one, I like this line. I don't really know why. Full of joy and full of rage and simultaneously thankless. I kind of tie this into peaks and valleys. Over the totality I'm overlooking. I feel like there's connection, like a tether there. Being led astray. Disobeyed, then put in a sanction. Like a sanction is like essentially, you know, I mean, we think of it in economic terms, right? With different countries, you put sanctions on them to like punish them economically. But basically, a sanction is a limitation, a rule, a boundary. You're not allowed to do this anymore. So he was led astray, disobeyed, then put in place a sanction. Like, I got led astray. I'm not going to listen to you anymore. And in fact, not only am I not going to listen to you anymore, I'm going to make a rule right now. I'm never going to listen to you anymore. Maybe. Who knows? I saw 90 like an angle, which is, you know, a triangle, 90-degree angle, whatever. It doesn't have to be a triangle, but alternating universe at 5, I saw an angel, and then this is a reference to people and place and whatever. That's how I see my Father, through the lens I choose to paint through. The lens I choose to paint through. That whole sentence right there. So lensing, I work with lenses. Small hint at what I do there for my job. I never talk about my job, and one day I will, but lensing gives you all kinds of different, focal options and field of view and all this other stuff. And you can have coatings on lenses to limit light and so on. Choose to paint through. You would never fucking paint on a lens, ever. Like, why would you do that, you know? Unless, you know what? He probably doesn't mean like painting on a lens. He's probably meaning like, I'm going to paint my picture. I'm going to paint a portrait, what I see through this lens. Maybe. Water at my ankles, grief at my Achilles. Nowadays, I choose to thank you because voids need filling. Water at my ankles feels like the beginning of a flood. Like if you think about a water leak or water coming in, if it's at your ankles, it's to the point where it's beyond control. Like if there's water on the floor, you can clean that up. If it's to your ankles, we got a problem. This is a substantial problem. So if you associate that with grief at my Achilles, if you have grief at your Achilles, that's your heel. You can't move. You can't you have no mobility. So then you can't escape this flood. Maybe I don't know. But then I think that makes sense going into the next portion. Nowadays, I choose to thank you because voids need filling. So I'm not gonna. Basically, maybe the idea is if it's a flood of emotion or if it's a whatever it is, instead of trying to run from this thing, knowing that I can't, I'm just gonna choose to take this in because voids need filling. Healing and hurting on the surface are the same thing. Blame is for a person. And learning is the great deed. Well, I have no idea. All of that to say I don't know. But take heed. And it gets into this great loop of remembering each other and spirits giving us life and memories and back and forth and gifts, bestowing gifts upon gifts and memories and loops. And yeah. Okay, let's move on to track 2. That's a lot to take in. Maybe track 2 will help paint a picture. We'll see. It's called Boulder. It's produced by Chuck Strangers. Dropping in track 2.
Step foot in the past, I resist, then I left my mask in the wind. My heart won't break from within, take time, I'ma crash in the crypt. That's a heavy boulder to lift. Living isn't growing older, it's being present in the moment. It's seeing being sober a gift. No one taught me how to harness the fall on the edge when it's costly to slip. I can go with the shadow don't, I'll atone the apartness.
Huh.
empty apartments. Around and around I go, lift a shroud on my own proud. By the sweat on my own brow, wish I knew then what I know now. Pin dropping like pink diamonds. Quiet and make no sound. Steady moving at the pace of my heart, weighing short of a whole pound. Let the children come, mothers come on.
All right, well, let's see what we can do here. I like the chorus. I don't know what Pink Dollars is. I don't know what that is. But pin dropping like, you know, he's saying it's spelled out as pin, like a you know, a needle, like a needlepoint pen or something like that. But I was thinking pen, like writing. Pen dropping like pink dollars. Quiet, it ain't make no sound. Steady moving at the pace of heart. I feel like that's a typo. It's like, you know, if you're writing and you're writing quietly, but it's steady moving at the pace of heart. So just writing these feelings out, quietly, which, you know, if you go back to the previous track, you know, nowadays I choose to thank you. Where was it? What was the simultaneously? Like the rage, full of joy and full of rage and simultaneously thankless. When I kind of visualize that, somebody who's in that state, I just almost picture them as still, like the joy and the rage cancel each other out, and then the thankless means they're not saying anything to you, essentially. And I feel like that feeds into this idea of quietly, no kitty, no, sorry kitty, not right now, sorry. Quietly just writing and moving at the pace of your heart, like journal entries, or just not even journal. I always say journal, but I personally find physically writing pen to paper to be so therapeutic, incredibly I love putting pen on paper. Love it. There's something about it. I don't know what it is. To me, it's almost magic. It's just, it's like my thoughts are forced to slow down. They're forced to focus into one idea. They're forced to come out at a slow pace. So it's not all frantic. What is it? The Zoomies are over and perhaps it's time to get some lap time. But no, kitties. I'm busy. Yeah, told them. Steady moving at the pace of heart, weighed short of a whole pound. Weighed short of a whole pound. Around and around how it go, like the roller rink in Midtown. And that almost feels like the thoughts that we're writing down are going around, almost in a circle. Let's go to the top. I step foot in the past I resist. Then I left my mask in the wind. Now, we mentioned mask on the previous track. Too many masks, too many faces, too many phases, all that kind of stuff. My heart won't break from within. My heart won't break from within. That means it's going to be external forces that cause heartbreak, not internal. Take time. I'm going to crash in the crypt, not crib, in the crypt. That's a heavy boulder to lift. Life isn't growing older, it's being present in the moment. It's seeing being sober a gift. I love, oh God, beautiful, beautiful. Love that. Being present in the moment. And especially that line after that, seeing being sober as a gift. Because if you're not sober, if you're drunk or high or whatever, you're not present in the moment. And so essentially, I love this equation of life is being present in the moment. Oh, kitty. No. Hey. God damn it. Sorry. Hey. Now. No. Get down. Get down. No. 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 Come here. Come here. Little troublemaker. Hoodlum. You're a hoodlum. This is voodoo. He's a hoodlum. Don't think he's cute because he's trying to attack the painting on the wall. And this is forbidden. Voodoo, this is forbidden, and you know this is forbidden. Bad kitty. Yeah. Anyway, you're not that bad. You can be nice when you're a good kitty, and most of the time he's a very good kitty, huh? Yeah. Don't attack the painting again. Hey. Oh, God. No. No. Hey. No. Stop. Stop. Stop it. Leave the painting alone. Leave the painting alone. We're gonna call that bonus content for Patreon. What I love about that whole thing about, present in the moment, that's what life is. Not getting older, but being present in the moment, and then, seeing sober as a gift is, what do we do when we're bored? We're just, I don't, nothing to do. Sometimes that's what I do. Like, I'm kind of bored. Oh, I'll just have a couple of drinks. But when you think about that, it's like this horrible exchange of accelerating your own demise, in a sense, and not from a health point of view, but time. We just have finite time. So life isn't growing older, it's being present in the moment. And every moment that you have where you're not present, it's like you're just throwing that chunk of life out the window instead of experiencing it and being there. It's like you're shortening your own lifespan. So I love that little section right there. That's great. No one taught me how to harness the fall on the edge when it's costly to slip. Before you learn to run, you got to crawl. I swear I felt it in all the mist of being who I want and being who I thought was a kid. I swear I felt it in all in the midst of being who I want and being who I thought was a kid. So I feel like, I don't know how old this guy is, but I like that. It's like realizing, I suppose, it feels like it's realizing what I thought I wanted actually isn't what I wanted. I don't know. Heard a whisper through the wall, but I never threw his God in the bin. I'm retrieving what I'd lost, my sanity, what I confessed on a whim, wasn't even all gone. This part I don't really understand. I only knew the dawn to repent. I don't really get that. Subconscious exhaustion. So this being tired without realizing you're tired. No bite for the barking. Great line. No bite for the barking. So a lot of talk, but nothing to back it up. And, you think about that, and maybe with being sober now instead of being whatever, intoxicated. I'll just say intoxicated. This idea of realizing who I want to be now rather than what I thought I wanted back when I was younger. Whose life on the market? It's peak and it's costly to bargain. I don't know that one. Northern the margin, it's close, but it feels like the farthest. Keep shooting for the stars. It's a life beyond the means of your darkness. That's a great little line. But what does it actually mean, right? Keep shooting for the stars. It's a life beyond the means of your darkness. I wonder if it feels like, the impression I get from that is like if you focus on your goal, you strive to your goal, and you really make that your goal, you will essentially, like, it's almost like swimming up out of the water. Like if you're down deep, we'll call that in the darkness, and we'll call the surface of, the stars, right? If you really just focus on going up and up and up and up and up and up, everything else kind of falls to the wayside, and maybe you can like get out of your own darkness in pursuit of your goal. Maybe the beauty of the rose that he holds, but the thorn is the sharpest. I can go where the shadow don't. I'll atone the apartness. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I like it. I like trying to figure it out. I don't feel like I'm doing that great of a job, but it is kind of fascinating. Stuff like this too, poetry like this, writing like this. Sometimes it's almost better not trying to figure it out, where you just let the ethereal, the nonsensical, the emotional tether make it make sense. Because sometimes somebody can say something and it's like, look, I don't know what that means, but I get it. Like you feel it type of a thing through the music, through its presentation. Let's move on to track 3. It was called Low Threshold. Producer's child actor. Is that him? No. Oh, it's 2 people. I forget what Navy Blue calls himself as a producer, and I think I saw something about that. Anyway, whatever. Okay, so here's track 3, Low Threshold.
The storm is passing, how will I survive amidst all that has happened? Held me captive. Victim of my pride, at times I'm all reaction. The slow burn is waiting for the magic. Caught lacking principles before the personalities. Like, don't you see yourself and who you after? It's all love, but I don't hate when I'm alone. I got my heart to cast and plaster, body chiseled out the stone. Wrong, where you going, where you gone? If you told a little lie, and you know how it feel to rob. Towered over flaws like a dark cloud, heart pounding, sending ripples through the bog. All along, it was me. I couldn't leave without rewriting the wrongs. I will breathe life in these songs because I'm allowed to pause. Peace allowed until serenity exists when I'm colliding with what is. If it wasn't me, then it was God who saw me quit. You decide your own fate, you can make your own way. Pessimism won't stay. It ain't always candles and cake. One foot in front, the other is the right pace. Wrong place, right time, at least that's what the plight say. Type shit, Navy just a vessel, couldn't write this. His likeness is settled in the light. What a hype is, money ain't make 'em, but the dollar is a motherfucker. My tax dollar killing children and their mothers. Fathers, aunties, cousins, uncles, all that. Guess it's safe to say the bottom is the place to fall at. I call that grace. Make haste to make most of what you call a safe place.
Great track. Great track. That was great. That was great. You know, there's something kind of special about that. And I'm glad I just got done saying sometimes it's easier to just let it flow and you just connect on a different level rather than trying to pick it all apart and analyze it. Because that, I feel like that song was a great example of that. This part right here. My tax dollars killing children and their mothers, fathers, aunties, cousins, uncles, all that. Yep. I fucking hate it. I hate it. And I hate all of it. I hate how our government is just letting Israel just fucking... I say the word nuke because we're not using nuclear weapons over there. And I say we because the United States is just as associated with this destruction as Israel is due to policy, funding, all that kind of shit. But the amount of conventional weapons that have been used, I mean, it's the equivalent of multiple nuclear weapons. So it's not like, there's this weird spin they try and put on things where it's like, bombing efforts, and they really just don't mention how much destruction is happening. And then the fact that basically the media really isn't talking about this, they're not showing any of it. I mean, it's just fucking awful what's going on over there. Awful. Anyway, let's go. We're going to go line to line again. This will be a long video. I'm glad I waited. I'm glad I didn't try to do this yesterday when I did Jesus King as well. That would have been too much. The storm is passing. How will I survive amidst all that has happened, held me captive? Victim of my pride at times, I'm all reaction. I like that a lot. Victim of my pride, I'm all reaction, meaning my pride, someone will say something and my pride gets all, nicked and bothered by it and I react to it. I love that. That's a great line. That's a great expression of, it's just a good way of kind of visualizing and explaining a lack of self-control, and not even just a lack of self-control, but a sensitivity. Someone says something and I get all pissed off by it and then I react. That's a sensitivity to. The slow burn is waiting for the magic. Okay, yeah, okay. Caught lacking principles before the personalities. Like, don't you see yourself and who you're after? Caught lacking principles before the personalities. Don't you see yourself and who you're after? The lacking the principles part is what's really standing out to me. Like, if you're before the personality, so that's kind of another way of saying maybe somebody who's a little famous, or maybe somebody who you admire or look up to, or whatever. Like, basically, this is a notable person, and then throwing in the question like, "Don't you see yourself?" Like how is it when you get around this person, you just toss your principles out the window? Don't you know who you are? Don't you know what you're going after? Who you're after? Anyway, it's all love, but I don't hate when I'm alone. I got my heart to cast and plaster, body chiseled out the stone. Roam where you go and where you gone. If you told a little lie, but you know how it feels to rob. If you told a little lie, but you know how it feels to rob. That one, I like this too, but why? If you told a little lie, but you know how it feels to rob. The song's called Low Threshold too. Maybe the idea here, telling a little lie, you're basically robbing somebody else of the truth. Maybe. Towered over flaws like a dark cloud. Heart pounding, sending ripples through the bog. All along it was me. I couldn't leave without rewriting the wrongs. I will breathe life. I loved this line when it came through. I will breathe life into these songs because I'm allowed to pause. I really wonder if that's like something to do with being dropped from Def Jam. You know, I don't know this guy's situation, his career, anything like that, but I imagine, well, there's potential where, you know, if you got a record contract, they want this, they want that, we need it by this time, come on, let's go. And feeling rushed and feeling like you can't make the art that you want to make, the music that you want to make. And so being able to breathe life into songs because now you feel like you're allowed to pause. You're allowed to take time to create them. You're allowed to do what needs to be done to make it the way you feel it should be, that therefore puts life into them, rather than this just fucking hollow, quickly slapped together, meaningless song that doesn't have any life to it. I like that one. Peace allowed until serenity exists. Peace allowed until serenity exists when I'm colliding with what is. Peace allowed until serenity exists. I don't know. This was a great one too. If it wasn't me, then it was God who saw me quit. Meaning, so I do something that's so stupid. It's a thought process. It makes no sense to me. But, you know, where people bring in donuts, right? And it's like, oh, I'll have a donut. But I try not to have too many donuts because, you know, I don't want to put on the weight. And it's funny, like I'll have a donut and then, you know, the box is sitting there all day and it's like, I'm walking by, oh, I could have a donut. No, you had one, you're fine. But there's this weird idea in my head of, well, if nobody else is there and nobody else sees me take a second donut, it's like I didn't have a second donut. It's like, no, motherfucker, that's so, what are you talking about? You're eating a second, but it's like my brain's trying to trick myself into, hey, yeah, you could have another donut. It's fine. No. So I love that line. I mean, it reminds me of me being silly, but you flip it the other way, essentially, of if you quit and you're working on this thing that nobody else knows about, it's just you. And you can kind of almost trick yourself into going, well, I didn't really quit this thing because nobody else knew about it. So it's, in a sense, it's like it never existed to begin with, you know? But God knows, right? God knows you quit. And I don't believe in external God, but however you want to take that term, God, like I bring it right back to you in terms of your own soul. You know you quit. You know. And even when we try and trick ourselves and think, no, I wasn't taking it that seriously. I was just trying it out. Deep down, we know, right? Oh, fuck, I quit. I gave up on that. I quit. She pulled me out the water like my mama saw a gift. My sister found God. That was my papa's dying wish. Why does life feel like a hug and death is just a kiss? That one I don't understand. Why does life feel like a hug and death is just a kiss? Maybe. The thing is it's a question. The question to me seems pretty easy to answer in terms of, okay, well, life is longer and it's more of an embrace type of thing, and death is, you know, quick and just over. Well, hopefully. I don't want to suffer through death. That's why I feel, you know, cancer and all that shit, man. These people who fight it for years or months and it's painful and long and then you just succumb to it. That sucks. Why does life feel like I don't know. Anyway, it's an interesting that it's a question to me. Because I would just put life feels like a hug and death is just a kiss. Anyway, don't you drift away from us and fall into that abyss. It's nothing short of luck. I receive what you transmit. That goes back to the first track. The spirits, remembering you, remembering me, remembering you, looping back and forth. Cancerous antics that lead me to the crypts. And crypts are where people are buried, so maybe you're thinking about previous people, the spirits again. I feel like that's a reference back to track 1. Led me, lead me to the crypts and then led me through the crypts spirit. So I think this is definitely a callback to track 1. Verse 2, please believe me, this is a treaty, I done signed it. I'm reminded of the times that ain't aligned with us. So a treaty is like a promise, essentially. The beanstalk, I'm climbing up. That's Jack and the beanstalk, but I don't really know what that. I know what that is. I don't know what that is supposed to mean in this context. We're reaching outward, trying to grab what we can find in us whole time. You decide your own fate. You can make your own way. Yes. Pessimism won't say yes. It ain't always candles and cake. Fucking excellent. One foot in front of the other is the right pace. Yes. Yes. Fucking brilliant. Because it's brilliant because it's the right pace. But he doesn't describe the pace because that's absolutely true. One foot in front of the other. Forward progress. Keep going. The opposite of quitting. It doesn't matter how slowly that foot is going. You could be sprinting. You could be shambling down the road. It doesn't matter the pace. That's the right pace. Moving forward is the right pace. Progress is the right pace. Love it. Love that. Fucking brilliant. Brilliant. I'm so glad he said that the way like that. It just is one foot in the other is the right pace. Wrong place, right time. At least that's what the plight say. Type shit. I like the type shit. Navy, just a vessel, couldn't write this. I don't get that. I mean, I get the Navy, just a vessel, Navy blue. I get that. I don't get the couldn't write this. You did write this. But I feel like he's saying, no. I'm just the vessel. I'm just the messenger. Like, this isn't my idea. The idea is channeled through me type of a thing. But I feel like you're cutting yourself short there, Navy Blue. You're not giving yourself enough credit. You did write this. You did write it. His likeness is settled in the light where the hype is. Money ain't making, but the dollar is a motherfucker. I love this too because essentially what I take from this is I'm not seeking money. I'm not trying to get rich. I don't need all this stuff. But goddamn it, I do still need money. Unfortunately, it's a motherfucker. I have to have food. I got to have somewhere to live. Like, I still need money. I'm not trying to be rich, but I still need money, and that sucks. And then we talked about the other part already. Guess it's safe to say the bottom is a place to fall. I call that grace. Make haste to make most of what you call a safe place. Huh. Pretty fascinating shit, man. Heart pounding, sending ripples through the bog. All along, it was me. I don't know. There's a lot of cool shit here. So we want to check for it. It's called Slow, produced by Navy Blue. This is fun. I'm really enjoying myself. That's a language I don't speak. Yep.
This my metamorphosis, but I ain't on my back and shit. Fading off the 1 foot like Dirk, your boy a maverick. The kid in terry cloth knit, Fendi print the patterning. Prada crepe, patent leather stepper like I'm gathering. Many come and go, but I don't fold up under pressure.
Vocals right there.
Spirit but a cell phone, connect my upper echelon. Station in the crib when I get the call. Is it really life if it ain't death involved? Headstrong, stringed out, ticking like the metronome. Grew up in a blessed home. My father was an introvert. Learned I was an empath and felt all on my sister hurt. Lit the herb. I can't be the one to solely mediate. I'm keeping faith intact, but I admit that I ain't seeing straight. So brother, where you at? I know you clever, just send me a sign. I know you clever, just send me a sign. The
I
globe
like
is
this
full of
one.
souls, the all knowing sees it all. My forever home is up above, or not within a host. I'm learning from the fall. I get up and I go. The totem heaven taught, this life is short, so live it slow. The globe is full of souls, the all knowing sees it all. My forever home is up above, and not within a host. I'm learning from the fall. This life is short, so live it slow.
Yeah. I love this
Taking
outro.
it slow, slow,
Fantastic.
slow. Take it slow, slow, slow. Just take it slow, slow, slow.
Yeah.
Just live it slow.
Love it. That was great. I love the outro. I mean, the first thing that immediately goes through my mind is just the rat race that we live, that we call life, you know? Gotta get up, gotta do this, gotta get to work, gotta go, gotta get this, gotta do that. And it's like, fuck, man. It's just the structure that we're within sucks. It makes it hard to live life slow. And it's a culture. It's American culture is just fucking go, 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 go. And a lot of cultures are like that. That's why it was so funny. I got a good friend of mine. He has worked for theaters forever, and he moved out to Maui for a while to work out there, which is great because I went to visit him. And he said when he first got out there, because he moved from LA to Maui, and it was like just massive culture shock, because he would have, there was one day specifically he told me about how he had this issue with one of the, like, I don't know, the AC unit or whatever it was, right? So they called in a vendor, outside maintenance person, to come like fix it. And he called him up at like 11, and the guy's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, well, you know, we're gonna take lunch and then we'll come out. And it's like 1 or 2 o'clock, and he calls him up, hey, what's going on? And he's like, well, yeah, it's already like 2, so we're just not gonna make it today. And basically, they're just like, I mean, the day's already kind of over, so we're just not gonna go out there today. And he said it's ridiculous, but like, he came from a world where it was, you know, oh my God, we got to do this now, and we're always 10 minutes behind, and this needs to get done, and that needs. So he said Maui and the Hawaiians, man, they're just totally different, which is great. I think that's great. I hate that we're just being squeezed for just fucking more all the time. Squeezed. I hate it. I can't stand it. And then what happens? We just run ourselves ragged and then die. No thanks. Hard pass on that one. All right, let's go line to line. Here we go. We're almost an hour in for 5 songs. Great. That's fine. This my metamorphosis, but I ain't on my back and shit. Fading off the 1 foot like Dirk, your boy Maverick. That's got to be a basketball reference for somebody I don't know because I don't watch basketball. The kid in the terry cloth knit, Fendi print, the pattern. What's that? Print. Oh, okay. Product crap, patent leather. Stepping like I'm gathering. Many come and go, but I don't fold up under the pressure. Spirit, but a cell phone connect my upper echelon. Oh, okay. I didn't really get this over steer. So spirit, meaning I think spirit, probably more, I would say more spiritual. Like maybe he's not interested in being online all the time type of a thing, but he still has a cell phone to keep in contact. Maybe, I don't know. That's the first thing I pull from that. Stationed at the crib when I get the call. Is it really life and if ain't death involved? Huh. Interesting question. I would say yeah. Not everything in life has to be so critical, you know? Especially if you go back to what he was talking about a couple tracks ago, you know, life isn't getting older, it's being present in the moment. Sitting, just chilling is present in the moment. There ain't no death involved there. So I'll answer the question, yes, it really is life if it ain't death involved. Headstrong, string dial, ticking like the metronome, grew up in a blessed home. My father was an introvert, learned I was an empath, and felt all of my sisters hurt. With the herb, I can't be the one to solely mediate. So it sounds like that was difficult. That sounds like it was, for whatever reason, you know, using a little bit of herb. Now, thinking about this too, right? You mentioned, you know, being present in the moment, being sober is a gift. So There's that's just a little thing to consider when he's talking about this. And also too, this is probably when he was younger, right here. So smoking a little bit to kind of help deal with feeling very empathetic to whatever his sister was dealing with. And there's nothing wrong with that. There you go. It is what it is. But I'm just noting it because it's something that's popped up and relevant to other lyrics that we've seen so far. I'm keeping faith intact, but I admit that I ain't seeing straight. Skewed like the truth when you teeter on a razor edge. A razor edge is very, very difficult to balance on because there's no surface, so the weight is going to go one way or the other. Baby legs couldn't stand a chance against the days I met. Hurting for a purpose. I was searching for a sign or something. So hurting for a purpose, searching for a sign, skewed, keeping faith intact but not seeing straight. Then I grew content with what I feel and who I will become. I guess it's in the cards, the damage my memory's done. So it's kind of like succumbing to a fate, essentially. I think this song is probably based off of when he was just how he felt when he was younger. Because the previous track or whatever, shoot for the stars to get out of your own darkness type of thing. Heading 1, Plenty Nights grappling this gripe. Issa Knife Like 21. Issa is the title of the 2017 debut album of rapper 21 Savage. Oh, okay. 25 got a lot I'd like to set aside, reminiscent of the better times. Brother, where you at? I know you clever, just send me a sign. So this made me wonder, is his brother dead? I don't know. I know you're clever, just send me a sign. Where are you at? I don't know. The only reason I mention that is because there's been chat of spirits and stuff like that. The globe is full of souls. The all-knowing sees it all. My forever home is up above and not within a host. So my forever home is heaven, not this, host, this body. I'm learning from the fall. I'm assuming, given this previous line, I'm assuming this is more of discussion the idea of the fall of man, so original sin type of a thing. But it could be both. It could be his own failures that he's learning from. I get up and I go, the totem heaven tall. This life is so short, so live it slow. Good jam. I like slow. I think that might be my favorite so far. Let's move forward. We've only done 4 songs in an hour. Track 5 is called Basis, produced by Child Actor. Drop it in, track 5.
I have nothing to lose. I rise from out the bed and get to tying my shoes. Applying life if I'm excused. Dancing with the devil in and out the fire fumes. It's like I gotta get this mire used. I have my mind and all. I'm making light of shadows too. I have the right to be amused.
Trippy chop.
Set it off. My unknown pleasures was my treasure lost. I found me in a bind and got whatever tether gone. I got no better plans to revel in. New measures, let them on. I guess I better set it straight.
I like the
late night cruising through my mental state. My heart the featherweight. Just wait for me to die and rise to heaven gates.
Yeah. I
have everything I want and more. Of course, you washed up on the shore.
Trippy structure for the production.
I have everything I want and more. Of course, you washed up on the shore.
Really funky chop on the loop, on the sample. It's kind of jarring. I have nothing to lose. I rise from out the bed and get to tying my shoes, applying life if I'm excused. Dancing with the devil, in and out the fire fumes. I like that one. It's like I gotta get this mire used. I have my mind and all. I'm making light of shadows too. I have the right to be amused. All right, I like that. I have the right to be amused. Set it off. My unknown pleasures was my treasure lost. I found me in a bind and got whatever tethered gone. I found me in a bind and got whatever tethered gone. I got no better plans to revel in. New measures led him on. I guess I better set it straight. Late night cruising through my mental state. I like that. Late night cruising through my mental state. My heart, the featherweight. So featherweight's a class of boxing, and that's like when you're a very lightweight person. I don't know like all the different classes, but featherweight is on the lighter end, pretty much opposite of heavyweight. Heavyweight, big. So my heart is the featherweight. So my heart is light, maybe, instead of heavy, which is okay. That makes sense. Okay. Just wait for me to die and rise to heaven's gates. I am what I am. It ain't no fighting facts. My life intact is where I stand. I rose from out the ash a better man. So if he's just, I wonder, I feel like the song's called Basis 2. Just this late night cruising through my mental state. My heart is the featherweight. It feels light. Just wait for me to die and rise to heaven again. I am what I am. Ain't no fighting facts. Feels very much like an acceptance of life, essentially. Accepting things that are, which makes sense in the idea of being present in the moment. Dancing with the devil in and out of the fire fume. I like that line a lot. I just love the way it's written. Dancing with the devil in and out of the fire fumes. It's like I gotta get this mire used. I have my mind and all. I'm making light of the shadows too. I have the right to be amused. I like that bit through there. That's good. I can't create no diamond. They say pressure can. Heavy hands, no Midas touch. So Midas turns things to gold. I broke down in a trance. I couldn't wait to take a chance. By any means I gotta live. It's necessary to recant. Sometimes leaders walk alone, can't deal with sycophants. I can't create no diamond. So I can't create any jewel. They say pressure can. This is an interesting section right here. I can't create no diamond. I can't create no diamond. Especially when you pair this up with I am what I am. It ain't no fighting facts. So this feels like, a bit of acceptance, but then getting a little bit further into acceptance. Maybe I can't create no diamond. And that's interesting to me as someone who is an artist making music. I can't create no diamond. They say pressure can. Heavy hands. Heavy hands, no Midas touch. I broke down in a trance. I couldn't wait to take a chance. I wonder if... I don't know. So what I was going to say here is I wonder, if I couldn't wait to take a chance. I broke down in a trance. I wonder if it's like I couldn't wait to get dropped from Def Jam type of a thing. I have no idea if that's accurate or not. But I mean, basically what I'm saying is like if you lose your record deal, now you're kind of exposed to the nothingness in a sense, and now that is in its own. It's like quitting a shitty job. If you have a job, or like getting fired, you don't like your job, but you need the job because money's a motherfucker, right? We know that. But you don't like the job, you don't want the job, and it's almost like one of those things where you'll never push yourself until something places you into a frightening position where now you're forced to deal with it. You're put in a pressure situation. If you get fired and you don't have a job, oh shit, the pressure's on. I need to find a job. And maybe in that situation of being under pressure, maybe that's when you go, this one thing I've been wanting to do, but I didn't think I could do it. I'm just going to fucking try it now. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take this chance. I'm going to go for it. Maybe. That's kind of what I get from that, but I have no idea if that's right. By any means I gotta live. It's necessary to recant. Sometimes leaders walk alone, can't deal with sycophants. Sycophants are, like very intense followers. So that's what that means. I have everything I want and more. And then I don't get this. Of course you washed up on the shore. That I don't understand. Interesting chop on the sample. Kind of jarring. Just I don't know. It was odd. I'll have to listen to that one more. Let's move on to track 6. It's called Running Sand. Produced by Chuck Strangers. Drop it in track 6. This is fun. I'm having a good time. This is a longer one, 3.5. The rest have been pretty short. 2 verses. Oh my God.
Don't sell me no half-truths. The devil is a liar. I was hiding in the back room. My projection wasn't astral. Was seeking every answer to the questions I ain't asked you. It ain't fiction if it's factual. Weaving through the past fractals. In the present, future tripping that's unnatural. It's like a never-ending fall through the wind. Pray a big soft cloud catch you. Or you hit the ground hard. Making promises you can't keep. Ain't reasoning with God. Try leaning in the loss. It was a dark place. The shadow grew inside the room that I would toss in. The heart aches too often. 2 feet and a few options. You born, you live, you die. My mama said don't rush it. I can't function with my pride. I cried and cried. I held it until I popped. Progression was my sentence. My reflection was my op. Conceived, you born, you live, you die. My mama said don't rush it, I can't function with my pride. I cried, I held it until I popped. Progression was my sentence, my reflection was my op.
I love his reflection.
My head the way the bowling ball would often hit the floor and hit the wall. Out the window I could heed the call. When the tears hit my bloody palms, defects and flaws need rest to keep stress up off me. Couldn't figure out what I had taught me, cause what I see in me I seen in Audrey. I wrote these memoirs in armor of a night, pituitary with my ODC that lead me to the light. Born, live,
cool
die.
song.
My
I like
mama
this
said
actually.
don't
Very
rush it,
sensitive.
I can't function with my pride. I cried and cried, I held it until I popped.
You're the one. You're right here. So that magnificent nature that you have inside may be like a jaguar, maybe it's like a tree, or like him, maybe it's like a wind. Or maybe it's like a squirrel, or maybe it's like a water bug, or maybe it's like a whirlpool, or maybe it's like a lightning, or maybe it's like some crashing thunder. Or then again, maybe like my teacher whose spirit was sand.
Sand. Neat song. Who's Audrey? Seen in Audrey. Audrey Shockey's Navy Blues grandmother. Okay, picture suited for this Vogue photo shoot. She was 95 at the time. Oh, wow. Wow. Still with a wonderful smile, too. Huh. All right, let's go through some lyrics. Don't sell me no half-truths. The devil is a liar. I was hiding in the back room. My projection wasn't astral. It wasn't astral. Seeking every answer to the questions I ain't ask you. I was hiding in the back room. My projection wasn't astral, seeking every answer. It ain't fiction if it's factual. Weaving through the past fractals. So fractals, I haven't nerded out on fractals in a long time. They're kind of hard to explain. It's a lot to do with chaos theory and math. But fractals are basically this thing where you can keep zooming in. Basically, they keep going forever. This is not a good explanation. Like the Mandelbrot set, Mandelbrot set. I forget how it is. There's these numerical equations that you can then visualize, and they're essentially infinite. They just keep going. They never stop going. And fractals are important in math in the sense of how they translate into nature, in the sense of, like, if you look at a tree leaf, like you go outside and there's a tree and there's all these leaves on it. You look at all the leaves, they're all the same, but they're all different. But they're all different the same way. And they all, like, if you zoom in on them, they're all the same. So it's, from what it's been so long since I've looked at any of this stuff. I used to really enjoy it, and then I just went, oh, that's cool, and then set it down. From what I vaguely remember, and I'm probably getting this all wrong, you take fractals and you take the general idea of chaos theory and all that shit of, it's all out of control, but it's all out of control in a controlled way, and everything's different, but it's all different in the same way. So trees, yes, they're all different, but they grow differently the same way. Like snowflakes, there's no snowflake that's exactly the same. That's right, they're all different, but they're all different under the same rule basis, essentially. And that's how fractals feed into that. So weaving through the past fractals, it's almost like a way of saying, you can almost say it's a way of saying history repeats itself. Maybe. But I don't know how that feeds into the context of what he's talking about. In the present, future tripping, it's unnatural. It's like a never-ending fall through the wind. Pray a big soft cloud catch you, or you hit the ground hard. Making promises you can't keep ain't reasoning with God. Oof, good one right there. Good one right there. Making promises you can't keep ain't reasoning with God. Tried leaning into loss. It was a dark place. The shadow grew inside the room that I would toss in the heartaches. Too often, 2 feet and few options. Either stand still or run. Who uttering a godsend? Bogged in and bogged down. I let the calm in and calm down. So the shadow grew inside the room. So you tried leaning into a loss. It was a dark place. That's pretty straightforward. The shadow grew inside the room that I would toss in the heartaches. So much of like little metaphors folding into himself here. But think about leaning into loss, putting yourself into a dark place. You can kind of consider that dark place a room. And that's where you're tossing all your heartaches. But you can also like toss a room, like think a FBI raid, right? Where they come in and they toss everything over to try and find what they're looking for. So I feel like that is part of it. And then the idea later on, bogged in and bogged down, I let the calm in and calm down. So in this room of darkness where you're leaning into loss and all your heartache is being put in there and it's just, you're getting bogged down by it. Now I'm going to let the calm into this room and I calm down. I like that. All that hellish filth about, I couldn't walk around. Eggshells and egret walls. I don't know what egret walls are, but walking on eggshells means, you have to step lightly. You don't want to break anything. You don't want to upset anybody. My ear itches. Eggshells and egret walls. When I was eager to release it all, the door swung closed. Heaven knows I didn't see me sleeping in this hall. So he got out of the room, I suppose, but now he's out in this hallway. So lots of interesting metaphor. You born, you live, you die. Mama said, don't rush it. I can't function with my pride. I cried. I held it until I popped. Progression was my sentence. My reflection was my op. So he's got a pride issue, or had a pride issue. And Mama saying, don't rush it. Again, I can't help but thinking this relates back to music, making music, trying to be successful in music. I don't know this guy's career. I'm not trying to say he has been unsuccessful. I have no idea. But that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Although I shouldn't say that because he's not talking about music here. I really shouldn't. I shouldn't pile that in here. That's kind of bullshit on my part. You born, you live, you die. And he's talking about leaning into loss and being in a dark place. Maybe the idea is don't rush it, meaning you can't rush through this emotional process, I suppose. I don't know. Let's get into verse 2. I couldn't haul the weight. My head that weighed a bowling ball. Heavy. Heavy. Would often hit the floor or hit the wall. Out the window, I could heed the call when the tears hit my bloody palms. That was interesting to me. My bloody palms. There's been a couple of references to God here. I don't know if this person is what the nature of their belief is, but if you think of bloody palms, you could possibly think of stigmata. You could possibly think of crucifixion. There maybe, who knows? When the tears hit my bloody palms, defects and flaws need to rest to keep stress up off me. Yes, rest is important. I couldn't figure out what I had taught me. Because when I see in me, I see in Audrey. Anxiety pronounced when I was sitting on the couch smoking. I ain't know I was killing myself softly. Or killing me softly. Killing Me Softly is an album, right? Isn't that an album? Like a 70s, from the 70s? I can't remember. But I like all this. Anxiety pronounced when I was sitting on the couch smoking. So again, smoking is not sober, which is not present in the moment. And that's okay. And this is, like, when I say all this stuff, this is not judgment. This is just referencing back to other lyrics we've touched on. And then follows it up with, I didn't know I was killing me softly. So kind of loops back to the original idea of the more you're not sober, the more you're not present, the more you're not living. So I think that ties into that concept. The song necessarily it varies. When the pendulum is swinging, it gets costly. I like that line. A pendulum swinging. I mention that a lot when it comes to society and how society shifts around and stuff like that. But pendulum swinging for a person would be like maybe your own mood or your own beliefs or whatever. You know, he's talking here about stress. He's talking about being in a dark place. Talking about his mom telling you don't rush it. And it's almost like, I don't want to say mood swings, but I think really in this context, he's probably talking about, you know, when the pendulum is swinging, it gets costly. So maybe I'm swinging from this emotional state and then I want to get out of it. So then I do these things, but then I swing over to this emotional state. So basically trying to, instead of living in a calm center, it's more of like these frenzied extremes that are on the hinges of that pendulum swing on the far edges, if that makes sense. Move with caution, don't accost me. Laboriously digging for an answer is exhausting. Yeah. I'm gonna use my 2 to carry, not to fight. So hands. So I'm gonna, instead of fight, I'm gonna try and carry, but carry what? I don't know. This arithmetic is scary. It prepared me to ignite. I wrote these memoirs in armor of a knight. I like that because that's a play on words. Armor and night obviously is pretty straightforward, but also if you write at nighttime when no one else is up, you're alone, and that's essentially your armor. Your privacy is your armor, so you can write freely in a sense. No one's walking by. You're not like having to cover it up or feel nervous that someone's going to catch you or something. This shit, I have no idea. No idea what that means. And then the outro was talking about, it was some sample of a guy talking about their spirit and like the different forms of spirit could be, like a jaguar or a tree or lightning or a squirrel or so-and-so was like sand. I don't know. Oh, the song called Running Sand. Ha. Good shit, man. This is fun. It's very interesting. I'm very much enjoying sitting down with this. Let's move on to track 7, which is called Red Roses. Producer is Nicholas Craven. Dropping in track 7, Red Roses. Oh, hold on. Let me start that over. I've been clipping the very, very, very front edges, and it pisses me off here. There we go. Not having Get used to not having you around. Get used to not having you. Yeah, it's chopped.
Yeah. I guess you've learned a whole heap of nothing. Suppose you're living with your demons, fuck it. Thunder rolling with the punches, it ain't touch 'em. Living life without a substance. I'm rushing such a feeling with the urgency of justice. All these fluctuating customs. It's all or nothing, shit gets shaky as your moral compass. Life is but a series of adjustments. Was ill-equipped, smoking spliffs too redundant. Been there, done that. My Pusha Indian and Huguenot. Blood in his veins, but his son's black.
Love it from it just a this shit sounds fire.
To make amends, the story bending at my will. I feel a void that only some lack. It's alive,
this song's badass.
Standing on business while I float above limits. You niggas sour as a lemon squeezed down. I found my feet, it's power in the venom. Can't kill me. Filthy in denial where you men is. A menace to society, it's ire in his image. My aim is to inspire, putting out that fire in you. Aim and hold the iron, let it fly and see what sin do.
This song's amazing. I love the beat structure. I love how they're looping the sample. And that guitar, oh my god. And there's like a little bit of string in there. fucking great. This song's great. Yeah, that shit was badass. Love it. Love it. All right. Here we go again. I want to say I could do this all day, but I'm too old and I would get too tired. But this is so much fun. I love doing this. I guess you've learned a whole heap of nothing. Suppose you're living with your demons, fuck it. Now, the first thing I wonder is he talking about somebody else or himself? I don't know. Thunder rolling with the punches that ain't touch 'em. Living life without a substance. Ah, sober, present in the moment. I'm rushing such a feeling with the urgency of justice. And I like that he says rushing, because the previous track, Mama said don't rush it. So some acknowledgement there. I mean, something, while this has been difficult to figure out in a lot of situations, which is totally fine. Like I honestly, as much as I would love to be able to like sit here and solve all of this in real time on first listen and be like, oh yeah, I like it when somebody writes for themselves, and if I could pick up stuff from it, cool. And I know I'm missing stuff for sure. I'm sure I'm getting things wrong and confusing them or whatever. But in this thing, he's got some self-awareness. He's throwing out a lot of self-awareness, which has been fun to observe, and little hints at, basically there's just breadcrumbs throughout. That ideas are tethered to each other. They're coming up. I like how it's spread through the album. It's good shit. I'm rushing such a feeling with the urgency of justice. All these fluctuating customs. It's all or nothing. Kind of ties back into the pendulum swing a little bit. Shit gets shaky as your moral compass. Life is but a series of adjustments. And I like this one because if you think of a series of adjustments, doesn't that sound less extreme than a pendulum swinging from side to side? No, I'm not gonna. And then too, what was the other song where he's talking about his pride and how he just reacts? You know, that's another kind of an idea of a pendulum swing. I was here, but then somebody said something and it just sung me way over here. Now I'm way over here, and then I gotta go over here. I don't know. Little adjustments. Get that swing, slow it, get it down into that calm center, right? Let the calm in. There's lots of relevancy here, back and forth between these songs and some of these lyrics. Was ill-equipped, smoking spliffs, too redundant. Been there, done that. So I like this little acknowledgement here. Upache Indian and Huguenot blood in his veins, but his son's black. So he's got to be talking about his dad right there. I assume this is his dad. Here. Running from it just to come back and make amends. Oh, so he's got to be talking about his own heritage? Like running from the fact that he's Indian? I don't know what Huguenot is, or Huguenot, whatever. I don't know what that is. The story bending at my will, I fill a void that only some lack. Only some lack this void. Huh. Interesting. I wonder if that's another idea about heritage. Like maybe there's only a few people in the black community that don't feel some sense of void about their own heritage, which would make sense given that, essentially, from what I understand, I'm not an expert on this, but from what I understand, because of slavery and because of the destruction of essentially family lines and having no idea your true history, you are left with just this blank spot. I don't know who my ancestors are. I don't know where I came from. I also have that. I really don't know much about my own ancestry. I know my grandparents both were immigrants from Holland to here. I know on my other side of the family, it's like Norwegian. That's the Viking look right there, right? But other than that, I don't know much about it. It's weird. It's kind of sad, you know? It would be nice to know, I guess. But then I ask, well, why? Why does it matter? I don't know, but it just does, right? It's just one of those things where it's like, it'd be neat to know where it all came from. I think maybe that's just just a general aspect of being a human, and just, you know, that's a question. So what's the answer type of a thing. The beating loop with my vocal. Fuck a drum track. Hell yeah. Or the beat looping with my vocal. Fuck a drum track. I love that. This is a great beat. I love that. The sound of that song, Red Roses, was fantastic. My brother from a city where they poke you like a thumbtack. And he throws in this West Side. I don't really know what that means, but poking you like a thumbtack, that doesn't feel good, does it? In the Navy, I did 6 years Navy. They would do, I don't know if other branches do this, but they would tack on when you got like a new like award or a new qual or a rank, they would tack it on, meaning you would go to the ceremony and they would pin it on, and then your buddies would come by and punch it, so your chest would be all like cut up and shit. It was real fun. It was great. Shit. Watch how you speak about the land, because I'm from that. Fuck him if it's problems. Primo sliding on some Rodney Mullen. I think he's a basketball player, but I don't know. Flip the script. Ain't sorry for who I'm becoming. I like that. Flip the script. I ain't sorry for who I'm becoming. Good. Me and mine winning, cheek to cheek grinning, steel royal oak with the moon phase in it. I don't know what that's a reference to something specific. I just don't know what it is. That's some fly shit, and it sounds pretty fly. I just don't know what the fuck it is. This is a live person clinic. You standing on business while I float above limits. You standing on business while I float above limits. I wonder if that's like an idea of I'm no longer bound to contracts. I'm no longer bound to business requirements. I'm free to do my own thing. I can just go do whatever I want, so I can float around while you're standing on the ground. You're anchored to the ground by business contracts, contractual agreements, obligations. I don't know. You people sour as a lemon, squeeze down. I found my feet. Its power in the venom can't kill me. Filthy in denial where your man is. A menace to society. Its ire in his image. Menace to Society is a movie. I haven't watched that in forever. I need to watch that. Its ire in his image. Filthy in denial where your man is. Its ire in his image. My aim is to inspire, putting out that fire in you. My aim is to inspire, putting out that fire in you. Aim and hold the iron, let it fly and see what sin do. That like confuses me. To inspire, putting out the fire in you? I don't know. Because does that sound like the opposite of inspiring? Don't you inspire to put fire into people to get them going? I don't know. I feel like I'm just confusing that one there. I don't understand that one. I'm missing that one. Aim and hold the iron. Maybe it's more of a language thing. Maybe because of how I'm reading it versus how it's vocalized and just kind of like a loose slang type of a thing. Maybe what he's saying is actually what I'm thinking of. It's just the way it's written out it's grammatically different from how it's spoken and then how it's taken. Aim and hold the iron, let it fly, and see what sin do. I'm going to keep it simple. Anchovies out the tin. 200,000 fleeting thoughts I'm choosing not to tend to. So this and anchovies, the only thing I thought of there was because anchovies in the wild, like out in the ocean, there's just a ton of them. They're everywhere. So I don't know. That was the association I drew, but I don't know if that's right. I'm standing 10 toes. You got to weigh the cons when you sense the pros. So standing up on his feet, the bloody thorn on a rose. Yeah, we did have a rose reference earlier, the thorn. Where was that? Was it the end of the first track? Second track? There was something about a very sharp thorn on a rose. I don't know where it was. Oh well. Red Roses was fucking bad. That was awesome. That was awesome. I love the sample on that beat. That was great. Let's move on to track 8. It's called Time Slips. Producer is no idea. No idea how that's supposed to be pronounced. I wonder if I mouse over it, it'll show. Nope. Nope. All right, here we go. Track 8, Time Slips.
Yeah. It's the first time somebody will ever say this on a rap song, but can you turn me down? Turn me down in the headphones.
Turn it down.
Yeah.
Turn down for what?
Time be slipping on me like now my wrist could fit a rollie twice. Day in the day, Prezi bracelets. Diamonds on the face, Lil Uzi Vert.
Lil Uzi Vert.
Diamonds in my pain, I found my worth. Colliding with my faith when I'm of service. A young sage was shy and rather nervous. I couldn't say goodbye.
It's a cool
have
beat
the
too.
courage. I found me in a bind, desire lurking. My goal is to inspire every person to be their best selves and find their purpose. Don't throw it on the shelf, just get to working. Slow and steady, win the race, they say. There's power within every step we take.
Yeah.
Patient, I'll be moving at my pace. Gracious like the undulation on a lake. I couldn't fake it, I'ma tell the truth. Depression was the birth of navy blue. My message is to serve a greater you. The transmutation of my hurt is now I've used. I'll follow.
Cool.
You home.
Very cool.
If I got
This one gets a heart too.
I know that I can solve it with truth. No, I can't wallow. Better just to swallow my pride. Found me in the gallows. I accept my whole shadow side.
Nice. Accepting my whole shadow side. Cool jam. Very cool jam. I like that one. I like that one. Can you please turn me down? Time slipping on me like now my wrist could fit a rollie twice. Day in the date, Prezi bracelets, diamond on the face, Lil Uzi Vert. So Lil Uzi Vert has like the diamond in his forehead, I guess. Diamonds in my pain, I found my worth. I like that. Diamonds in my pain, I found my worth. Found my worth. Colliding with my faith when I'm of service. That's an interesting one, though. Colliding with my faith when I'm of service. A young sage was shy and rather nervous. I couldn't say goodbye. Ain't have the courage. I found me in a bind. Desire lurking. Diamonds in my pain, I found my worth. So, it's funny, like, when I just roll through it, I feel like it all makes sense, but when I sit and try to explain it, I find it challenging. Finding my worth in my pain, essentially, a young sage was shy and rather nervous. I think one are just the wisdom in acknowledging maybe his own pain, his own past, his own struggles, and how there's value in that. There's worth in that. I couldn't say goodbye, I have the courage. And then I found me in a blind desire lurking. I don't know about who he's, saying goodbye to. I'm assuming his father, because he said something like that later on, how his father's in his heart. So maybe his dad dies or has died and, didn't have the courage to let that go. Maybe. I'm not sure. I find me in a bind, desire lurking. Desire is a tricky little trap because if you really fixate on something that you desire, something that you don't have, that essentially does is that steals away everything else you do have. If that makes any sense to you. If you desire, think about all the stuff that you've ever really, really wanted that you now have. But just think about your life for a moment. There's tons of times. Oh man, I can't wait for this game to come out. Oh man, I can't wait to go see this movie. Oh, it's going to be so good to hear that album. Oh, I just want to get this thing and that thing. The excitement that we have, the desire that we have for that thing. And then what happens? We have it. And then what? We want the next one. Right? It doesn't, desire itself is never, it's never satiated. It's never satisfied. It's just always this dangling thing off in the distance. And if you get so fixated on a certain desire, you'll just neglect everything else that you've ever had essentially in your life, which is so bizarre, right? Like, remember 6 months ago when you're super, super excited about that thing and now you don't even really care? So I describe it like that to point out how to combat desire. And what I do is sometimes I'll get a little hyped up and it's like, yeah, but 3 months from now, I might not even be playing that game anymore or whatever it is, right? And this isn't an idea of don't look forward to something or don't enjoy something that when it happens. No. This is just to squash that feeling of, oh my God, I need this thing. I need the desire, because that can just, it's not necessarily a great thing. Sometimes it feels like it is, like it turns into hype. Although hype is a little different too. That's more of an excitement thing. But desire can just kind of break shit apart. Desire, depending on how strong it is and how focused it is, desire is kind of bad, honestly, in my opinion. Looking forward to something good, enjoying something good, but don't let your desire for something else ruin everything that you already do have, you know? My goal is to inspire every person to be the best selves and find their purpose. Don't throw it on the shelf. Just get to working. Oh, love it. The right pace. What's the right pace? Everybody, there is a quiz now. 1 foot in front of the other. That's the right pace. Slow and steady wins the race, they say. It's power within every step we take. Patient, I be moving at my pace. Gracious like the undulation on the lake. And I think undulation, I think that means like just kind of like little steady movements, like things. If you're undulating, you're not like, it's just, so think of a very still lake, but there's just a little bit of movement in there. I couldn't fake it. I'm going to tell the truth. Depression was the birth of navy blue. My message is to serve a greater you. The transmutation of my hurt is now of use, which ties into earlier, diamonds in my pain, I found my worth. So that's clarified, specified further. I had to shine a light on my abuse. I'm living for Michael and my youth. I would gripe and stifle my amusements. I don't like it when mama makes excuses. She own it. I love that right there. I say, teach me how to do it. So he's referencing his mom there. She owns the things that she has. She owns it. In terms of like, I guess, well, let's see, like, not necessarily abuse. I don't know. He's not really specifying, but just the fact that, you know, when somebody owns their flaws, they own their mistakes, they own the things that they've done wrong, and that shit, that shit is great. So he says, teach me how to do it. Mama hears my heart. She's speaking to it. Papa in my heart. He's speaking through it. So I'm assuming his dad has died. I'm not sure. I'm assuming so. My arc will end and start a complete movement. This is beautiful. Fucking awesome. Awesome. I'll follow you home. If I got a problem, I know that I can't solve. If I got a problem, I know that I can solve it with truth. No, I can't wallow. Best to just swallow my pride. Found me in the gallows. I accept my whole shadow side. Own it. Own it. Fuck yeah, dude. This is great. Great song. Great song. 2 tracks left. This has been a hell of a ride. What are we at? An hour and 40 minutes. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I'm just kind of, doing what I do, I suppose. But this is a bit more of an extreme example of really going through the lines and trying to figure it out. And I know I'm sure I've gotten plenty of stuff wrong and missed it or confused it or whatever. But it's just, this has been a great ride. Track 9 is called Say the Word, produced by Gray Matter. Dropping in track 9.
Say the word. Say the word. My mama made it work. She fed her baby birds. Papa fled and left the earth within his 88th. Tectonic plates shifting, set aside my ways. Living for the finer things, struck and cut a vein and nerve. Say the word, the play up on the field was overturned. Smoke would cover up the pain, I saw my father burn. Split after spliff in the crib, I would watch and learn. I run the race, you move impatient, trying to make it first. I grew complacent, I was stationed where I caught that urge. On the verge of breaking through, I'm trying to break these curses. I only got myself to blame, it's me against that person that I was before. My hard face, brittle as a flake. I'm pushing buttons, trying to see it twirl. I don't wanna be a burden, tied to you or not to me. A single tear up in my eyes, my lotus flower blossoming. I would smile like Siddhartha, pull the sword about the stone with ease. I'm Arthur, and when I feel alone, I'm still a part of Large love, loving me was always in the cards, huh? Say the word. Say the word. Trying to save the world. Just say the word.
Oh, cool. Turn the production there. I'm really liking the sample usage on this one. I don't know any of the samples, but they're just cool little chops. So say the word. The word's got to be love, right? It's got to be love. Let's go through this. We'll see if that's right. There's a hint at the bottom. My mama made it work. She fed her baby birds. I like that. Papa fled and left the earth within his 88. So I guess his dad died at 88, or maybe it was his grandfather. Probably his grandfather. Tectonic plates shifting, set aside my ways. Living for the finer things, struck and cut a vein or a nerve. Say the word. The play up on the field was overturned. Say the word. The play up on the field was overturned. Smoke would cover up the pain. I saw my father burn. Oh. Fantastic. That shit's fire right there. Smoke would cover up the pain. I saw my father burn. But throw in even more with the context of the album and what we've talked about in terms of being present in the moment is living, and you have to be sober to be present in the moment. So he smoked a lot, basically. He smoked a lot. That hurt him a lot. And there's another reference, empathetic and hitting the spliff because he couldn't be the soul to the lone soul to mediate or whatever it was. Basically just coping with weed at the death of his grandfather. I'm assuming. But great line, man. Great line. Spliff after spliff in the crib. I would watch and learn. I run the race. You move impatient, try and make it first. I like that too. I grew complacent. I was stationed where I caught that urge. On the verge of breaking through. I'm trying to break these curses. And that's got to be his own personal thing. On the verge, like a personal breakthrough, maybe emotionally or something. I only got myself to blame. It's me against that person that I was before. But I also wonder, too, if this is tying into his music career. Like on the verge of breaking through, breaking out, making it big type of thing. Trying to break these curses. I've only got myself to blame. It's me against the person I was before. My hung face brittle as a flake. I'm pushing buttons, trying to see it twirl. That I don't know. Whispers in the dark. Them teeth were sharp. The whispers in the dark. Earlier, he tried to, tried to lean into the L and got into the dark, put himself in the dark place or whatever. And it was so there we go. Well, maybe, actually, no. Let me back that up. I don't know. I'm not going to, no. Whispers in the dark. Maybe it's what other people are saying about him. I don't know. I got a lion heart. I'm trying to save the world. Who's to save me? Save me a seat. Stray from feeling that I can't breathe. Or I can't be thoroughly me at 13. This is, I don't know if this is places that he's lived or whatever, and I can't pronounce them. Unraveling at my seams, my heart was knotted beneath. I don't want to be a burden. Todd said, you are not to me. So I'm just going to assume his grandfather died and he went to go live with this other person, but he felt like a burden, and this is all when he was 13 and he had to move, I guess. And now this other person, Todd, telling him, you're not a burden. You're not a burden, which is beautiful. A single tear up in my eyes, my lotus flower blossoming. I would smile like Siddhartha. Pull the sword up out the stone with ease, I'm Arthur. So just coming alive by that. You know, feeling is alive. And when I feel alone, I'm still part of large love. Loving me was always in the cards, huh? So basically, this person, Todd, whoever that is, after the death of Navy Blue's grandfather who took him in, I'm assuming. I don't, if I'm wrong, then I'm just wrong. But this is what I'm getting for this. You know, just 13-year-old kid. Hey man, you're not a burden. you know? And so feeling that love, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Say the word. It's amazing how I'm claiming what I've merely earned. They told me, keep from by the edge when I was clearly perched, looking for a push deep within. It's where Navy learned. And Navy Blue was born in depression. He mentioned that. So he was on this edge, on the edge of the you know, looking for a push from the edge where he was perched there. I don't know. Say the word. Maybe the idea is love sets you free. I don't know. Let's go to the final track. There's one more. It's called La Noche. You would think my living in California for so much of my life, I'd have a little bit better understanding of Spanish, but it's not that I don't want to know Spanish. I just don't want to take the time to learn it. That's the difference. When I watched The Matrix, man, back in the 1900s, long time ago. That first Matrix movie, the idea of being able to download information to your brain directly and it's just stored there. Oh God, that was amazing. Like, yeah, give me some languages and just like, yeah. There's lots of things I would like to be able to do, but I don't want to learn how, and so I don't. Anyway, there's my story. It's a great story. So track 10 is produced by Grant LaPointe. Drop it in. This one is a little bit, actually this is the longest song off the album, almost 4 minutes. Whew, 4 minutes. You have to take a break in between here. I've enjoyed how there's just like this element of lo-fi too throughout the album.
I couldn't see beyond the tip of my own nose. World too small to rediscover where I don't go. They say you can't give what you don't hold. Trying to find a diamond in the roughage of my soul. Every verse is sentimental in its own right. If I don't write, I can't make sense of what I know. I might have took a turn down the wrong road. I ended up where I was meant to, heaven knows. I'm at the limits of living alone. I've known cold rivers and worrying tones. Through the downpouring rain and flurry and snow. Just know you only get better the further you go. I choose to give it all to God, I'm turning it over. It's only tough battles for capable soldiers. I'm eligible but don't meddle with closure. I'm settled, if you need me, I'll lend you my shoulder.
I love that. I love it. I love the chorus. Yeah, that's beautiful.
I've come a long way from crying on whoever's shoulder was near. I closed my eyes and let the moment appear. Glimmer of light, I saw some hope in the mirror. I know the only way forward is to cope with the fears. Closing my mouth just to open my ears. I learned the most about myself within these couple of years. My cycle but a circle, it evolved to a sphere. Felt the calm from all directions, saw the northern star. Shining bright as when I turned my life over to God. The dimension of the spirit ain't as far as I thought. Close enough to grasp my emotions of loss. Don't make me who I am, that's just what I was taught. The shame that I have known is like I'm always at fault. But the act of forgiveness is a definitive thought. The wrath of my cynicism ain't innocent at all. In reflection, I saw that my self-centeredness a flaw, a defect. Difference between affect and effect. Gotta find a reason to release stress. He next to flourish from the place he chose to reject. Sincerely yours, Sage. P.S. We blessed.
Sage. This is fantastic.
And you talk about weeping. After every feast, everybody weeps for dessert. That's what we do in the village. People think they're crazy, you know, white people, they come in and say, how come everybody's weeping? I say, well, that's what you have to do. How can you possibly eat food without weeping? It's impossible not to eat food without weeping. All that food is died to feed your people. And then you realize the strange dilemma of being alive when you get killed this way or you get killed that way. Whether the food gets killed and is denied of its genetic future to feed your children and yourself. Or it gets killed by having to be planted and changing form and growing painfully like we do into the forms we are now. How can you not weep? You gotta weep. And so everybody weeps because they know that's dessert. Dessert is weeping. So you eat the food and then everybody cries for being human, for being angry, for being here, for being there. And they weep and then they're done and then they laugh. And then they start dancing. And then they sing. And that's called heaven to us.
Huh. Fascinating. That was fucking great, man. That was great. That was great. What a great closure. What a great arc in an album. I couldn't see beyond the tip of my own nose. World too small to rediscover where I don't go. World too small to rediscover where I don't go. I feel like that's simple, but I'm making it complicated in my brain here. They say you can't give what you don't hold, trying to find a diamond in the roughage of my soul. Every verse is sentimental in its own right. If I don't write, I can't make sense of what I've known. That's why I think that previous song, that one song I was talking about, I think it was a typo. You know, it's the dropping of a pen, as in writing and writing softly and all that kind of stuff. I think that's what that was. I might have took a turn down the wrong road. I ended up where I was meant to. Heaven knows. So this is kind of important in the sense of, let's tie this back into what I was saying with desire, because the other day I was talking to you about, you know, not fixating on outcome and stuff. I assume, well, it's pretty obvious, pretty straightforward, but sometimes I don't know what to say because I'll say something in a video that I did a day ago or a week ago or whatever, and I don't want to like say the same thing over and over again, but it's also at the same time isn't the same person watching every video, like, you know? So anyway, the whole idea was, you know, letting things go, and how to let go was to not fixate on a specific outcome. And here, you know, we talked about desire, and desire ties into fixating on a specific outcome a bit. But with this, you know, I might have taken a turn down the wrong road and ended up where I was meant to. And that a whole idea is basically just this great summary of, hey, you know, I was hoping I was going to go here, and it didn't go that way. I went down the wrong road, but in going down the wrong road, I wound up exactly where I wanted to be instead. But you can only do that if you don't have this fixated desire for a specific outcome. So this, I love that that's in there, because it's beautiful on multiple levels. It's beautiful. I was going to say it's beautiful because it's true, but it's only true because that's what I believe. So good job for writing something that I agree with. No. But really, it's beautiful in the sense that it's his own way of acknowledging everything that he said here. I'm going to end up where I was meant to. I ended up where I was meant to. But you can only feel that way when you let go. So in saying that, he has let go. Basically, that's all long-winded, complicated way of, for me, to get to that point. I met the limits of living alone. I've known cold rivers and worrying tones. Through the downpouring rain and flurrying snow, just know you only get better the further you go. Yep. I choose to give it all to God. I'm turning it over, so no longer dependent on specific outcome. It's only tough battles for capable soldiers. I'm eligible, but don't meddle with closure. I'm settled. If you need me, I'll lend you my shoulder. He's eligible in the sense that he can now take on these tough battles. He now feels like he's a capable soldier. I don't understand the don't meddle with closure. Maybe that's don't dig in too much with how he's processing his things, because he feels settled in that. So maybe don't criticize how he's gone through his journey emotionally, I suppose. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm settled, and if you need me, I'll lend you my shoulder. So I'm willing to help you. I'm settled. I'm capable. I've worked through my shit. I'm now willing to help you. But also, if I'm helping you, don't, I suppose, criticize my method because it worked for me. That's, I guess. I don't know. This chorus is beautiful. The la da 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 da. Oh, God, I loved it. I hope you find peace of mind on your own. I've come a long way from crying on whoever's shoulder was near. So obviously now he's going to be the shoulder instead of crying on the shoulder. I closed my eyes and I let the moment appear. Glimmer of light, I saw hope in the mirror. No longer opposition, which is himself, right? I saw hope in the mirror. Glimmer of light. So I wonder if glimmer of light is like, there's something in his eye now. He can see it. I know the only way forward is to cope with the fears. Closing my mouth just to open my ears. I learned the most about myself within these couple of years. I love this line. I love this line. I'll explain why. My cycle but a circle, it evolved to a sphere. What's the difference between a circle and a sphere? Depth. So that's fucking brilliant. I love that. I used to be a circle, but now I'm a sphere. I have depth to myself. That's fucking great. No longer am I two-dimensional. Felt the calm from all directions, saw the northernest star shining bright as when I turned my life over to God. The dimension of the spirit ain't as far as I thought. Close enough to grasp my emotions of loss. Don't make me who I am. That's just what I was taught. This line I didn't understand. Don't make me who I am. That's just what I was taught. I don't understand. That confuses me. Don't make me who I am. The shame that I have known is like I'm always at fault, but the act of forgiveness is the definitive thought. Yes. If you're going to forgive someone legitimately, that is a active choice. That's not a yeah, sure. It is not dismissive. It is not a dismissive, passive, momentary thing. It is a decision. So yes. The wrath of my cynicism ain't innocent at all. In reflection, I saw that my self-centeredness a flaw, a defect, difference between affect and effect and effect. And I could never remember the difference between the two, so I can't explain that. I can never remember the difference between the two, ever. I always have to look it up. Because I can't even remember which is which. That's the problem. But like an affect is like, oh fuck. It's hard to explain the two too. Like an effect. I can't keep it straight. I can't. But one of them is like, if you're effective, it's good at what you're doing, and then another one's like in response to. Anyway, whatever. All he's doing here is proving I don't know shit about those two words, and I can never keep it straight. Gotta find a reason to release stress. He's next to flourish from the place he chose to reject. Sincerely yours, Sage. P.S. We're blessed. And I love that he says, sincerely yours, Sage, because earlier there was a couple lines about wanting to be a sage and how a sage is wisdom and all this other stuff. So it just wraps up the whole arc right there. And then this outro portion, the chorus and these question marks, as this person talking about people are weeping when they're eating their food because it's essentially killing the food to keep them alive, and that feeds all back into the circle of life, and which feeds back into track 1, which is the whole remember you, remembering us every time we eat, your spirits. So it's just life, circle of life. It's a loop. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, it's a loop right here. They're giving a gift to you, you're giving a gift to them, they're giving a gift to you. And really the reason why this is all so celebrated is it's we so easily and often think of death as this awful, terrible thing that's final and it's the end, but it's not. Like, life is a cycle. Life is a cycle. And death is a fundamental, foundational part of cycle. You cannot have life without death. You cannot have death without life. It's just, they are bound to each other. Bound. I don't want to do the music videos. I'm not going to do the music videos. This ran long, which was fine. I don't mind that. But really, I feel so content right here. And, well, now I'm changing my mind. Oh, and I didn't do closing thoughts. I'm all over the place. Gotta slow down. Find my calm. Let the calm in. Let the calm in. Ah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun to listen to. And sit down with. You know, it's something I really, really enjoy about it too is, the theme and the different messages, but this every now and then touching on being present, because that's what I enjoy so much about this for me, you guys. I mean, I love music, obviously, and lyrics, all this other stuff, but this, I'm just so here when I do this. I'm so here. And sometimes it's a bummer. Sometimes it's like, well, this song isn't really that interesting. Well, now I just have to be here and sit and listen to it. But I love. I think really too is my secret, super ultra secret hidden goal is hopefully I can show other people that it's okay to stop. It's okay to stop. Stop distracting ourselves. Stop running ourselves ragged. Just stop and sit and enjoy whatever it is that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be music. My wife's been reading lately, and I mean, every now and then we just sit outside. Like, we gotta get off these fucking phones, man. Screens, not phones necessarily, but I remember seeing this thing on Reddit once about some psychopath. This dude saw some psychopath in the airport because it was just this older guy, and he was just sitting there, and he wasn't looking at his phone, and he wasn't listening to music, he didn't have anything on, he wasn't reading a book, he was just sitting there, not talking, and it was like the joke was like, you have to be a psychopath to be able to do that, but no, man, that's how it used to fucking be. And I personally have concern about all this shit that's available to distract us all the time. That's endless. It just keeps coming. It never stops. And it's just not healthy. It's not healthy. It is to me, in the context of this album, why I'm bringing this up, is to me it's another version of not being sober. If you think about what he was saying here in terms of you have to be present, to experience life, and to be present, you must be sober, essentially. He didn't word it exactly like that. If you're distracting yourself, that's another way of not being sober. It's another way of not being here. And then shit's just gone. It's over. And that's all time. And now look, I get it. Like if you're stuck in traffic, or you're riding the fucking, you're on the bus or whatever, like there's places where it just sucks to be there and you want to just kill the time because the reason why you're there is because you have to do a thing and you have to wait 45 minutes for, sure. And it's not like you can go out and pursue all your interests and hopes and dreams and goals and all that stuff while you're waiting. I mean, I get it. It's not like I'm saying never ever distract yourself, but there are times when it's like, okay, we're home now. We have our free time now. We're away from our commitments. This is now your time. Try not to distract yourself. Because really, now at that point, in that situation, you're just stealing from yourself, essentially. If you're at work and you're on your phone, I'm cool with that. I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, sure. Yeah, go for it. But don't steal your own time. Why would you steal your own time? And I'm guilty of it too. Please don't think I'm preaching down to the choir, preaching down to I do this shit all the time, and everything I'm saying to you, essentially to say it to myself as well. None of that really has anything to do with the album, I suppose, but there you go. Do I want to do? No, I don't want to do the music video. I don't want to. Yeah, I just want to leave it here. That was cool, man. It was very cool. Very cool. Different, a little different. Took me a little bit to settle into the sound. First couple tracks I didn't really put check marks next to it. But as we rolled into it, back half all has check marks for sure. Listening to it again, it's gonna get more. That was cool. Very cool. Okay. All right. Y'all take care. Have a good weekend. We'll see you soon.